Hi, everybody. Today we're going to look at a book. It is called Grandma, the Life of Bertha Holt. This book is very, very special. It's very special because it is a book about Bertha Holt, and that is who our school is named after. It's also really special because this book was actually created by Holt Elementary School students. This book was created and illustrated and written by Cindy Hinton's fourth grade class and Barbara Stater's fifth grade class. Now, this book was created about in 2007. Our school was founded in 2004. So we have some very talented Holt students that are grown up now who wrote this book. We have a tradition here at Bertha Holt Elementary School where second graders get to have their very own copy. So second graders, if you don't already have your copy, I am sure it is on its way. Today I want to go ahead and read the book, Grandma, the Life of Bertha Holt to you. Feel free to read along and let's learn about Grandma Bertha Holt. What is Bertha Holt known for? Bertha Holt is known for her work with children and for founding Holt International Children's Services. She and her husband, Harry, adopted 8 Korean children and brought them here into their country house in Cresswell, Oregon. She was 51 at the time and already had 6 children of her own, which is truly amazing. With this simple action, Bertha and Harry inspired thousands of other people to adopt internationally. 1 year later, they started the Orphan Foundation Fund, which eventually became Holt International Children's Services. It has helped people everywhere adopt homeless children. Now there are agencies across the world, and there will be more to come. Bertha Holt was an adoption pioneer and an inspiration to everyone. Where was Bertha Holt born and what kind of upbringing did she have? It all began on February 5th, 1904. Bertha Marion Holt was born to Clifford and Eva Holt on the family country farm in Des Moines, Iowa. Her parents were loving and kind, yet very strict. Clifford and Eva Holt had to support a staggering family of 9 children on top of owning and caring for a farm. What was Bertha Holt like as a child? Bertha had many interests. Her sister Beulah referred to her as the queen of cleaning. Bertha would tell everyone to make their beds, dust the tables, and clean their rooms. With her help, of course. She loved taking care of animals and raising vegetables. When Bertha and her siblings weren't in school or working, they played simple and creative games. Other games were just plain fun, like jacks and old maid. They liked to play strategy games like checkers and chess. They would put golf balls on their feet and skate on them or use them to ice skate. Sounds very fun. What was Bertha Holt's educational background? Bertha Holt was a very intelligent student, even as a child. Bertha loved to study by her old kerosene lamp. Bertha always brought home very good grades. At her schoolhouse, there were only 3 rooms with 2 or 3 grade levels in each room. After high school, Bertha went to college and earned a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing with a minor in education. At the very end of this book, there is a picture of Bertha Holt when she graduated from nursing school. I'll try to make sure I show it to you at the end. What was it like for the Holt family before the family adoptions? Bertha and Harry met when they were 3 and 4 years old. Now, they married about 20 years later on December 31st, 1927. The couple did not start their large family right away, but it was all about to change 5 years later. Bertha and Harry Holt lived a very simple life in South Dakota. For a living, Harry farmed on other people's land. When they had enough money, they purchased land so they could have their own farm and crops. When the farm was finished, they built their home where they had 4 children. They liked their new home, although later there was a big drought and their crops became dried out. They stayed in South Dakota trying to endure it until something worse happened, the Great Depression. People were losing money quickly. Soon, people could not even buy Harry's coal that he had been mining on his property for extra cash. That was too much, and they decided to move to Oregon. So why did the Holts move to Oregon? The Holts were tired of all the hardships. They wanted to live somewhere new. The Holts wanted to move to Oregon because they had heard of the Willamette Valley and that they had a mild climate, fertile soil, and was surrounded by forested hills, and because it rained. They were done with dried out crops. The Holts wanted to be near a factory and other buildings for a change. They looked forward to their new home in Oregon where Harry could still farm and their children could grow up. Why did Bertha and Harry decide to adopt 8 Korean babies? The Holt family viewed a documentary film about the plight of the Korean American orphaned children during the Korean War. The film showed the many GI babies who were left behind with no one to take care of them. They felt sympathetic about the hardships the children faced, so they began to sponsor the orphaned children. But even though they were already sending money to the orphanages, they wanted to do more. They found themselves thinking about how many beds would fit in their house, and as a result, they decided to adopt 8 Korean children. The Holts loved the babies like the 6 children they had already had. Bertha always said, "You can never have too many children." What challenges did the Holts face during the adoption process? Back in 1955, adopting kids internationally was not a picnic in the park. The adoption law then said you could only adopt 2 children at the maximum. Generally, people chose to adopt children of their own race. Well, Bertha, then 51, and her husband Harry, 50, broke that barrier when they adopted 8 Korean war babies, also known as GI babies. They had to get Congress to pass a bill to allow them to adopt more than 2 children. When June 14, 1955 rolled around, the Senate passed the bill for relief of certain Korean War orphans. How did the life change for the Holt family after they adopted 8 Korean babies? After Bertha and Harry adopted 8 Korean children, there were more work to do around the house. The babies were 8 months to 3.5 years old. Kids at that age need a lot of care. The biological children quickly learned how to care for babies. They played with them, changed their diapers, fed them, and helped cook and clean. Also, Bertha and some of her daughters made clothing for the babies. Even though it was a lot of work, it was worth it. How was Holt International Children's Services founded? Holt International started because of Bertha and Harry Holt's belief that every child deserves a loving home. The Holt Agency was founded in 1956 in Cresswell, Oregon, and in Korea. When Harry arrived back in Oregon with 8 Korean children, the family received a lot of media attention. This motivated the people to request help in the process of adopting Korean children. Harry spent 2 years building a home for orphans in Korea. This gave orphans a safe place to live while they waited to be adopted. In total, he built 3 progressively larger facilities over 8 years. What inspired Bertha Holt to pursue her life's work? Bertha Holt's good deeds were always inspired by her belief in God. She was raised going to church and followed her parents' footsteps throughout the course of her life. She always had a long list of things and people to pray for and practiced Bible reading daily. When Harry had his first heart attack and he recovered, both Harry and Bertha considered it a blessing and felt they had a calling to serve the Lord for the rest of their lives. Bertha and Harry's work was supported by their children, especially after they became older. Bertha's love for children was great. She felt that every child, even ones with special needs, deserved a home. She had a huge effect on people. She and Harry set out to change the world one child at a time. How is Bertha Holt remembered? Besides having a whole elementary school named after her. Bertha is remembered as the grandma who changed the world. Even though her name was Bertha, children throughout the world knew her as Grandma. Bertha's children had some special memories of her. She loved to make movies and take pictures. She wrote scripts for the movies and her children acted out the parts. She was always innovative. For example, she used the washing machine to shell peas. Her children remembered going on lots of trips. They often visited a vacation home that Harry built at the beach, and they even took a cruise on an 84-foot boat in Alaska. Mom was always enthusiastic about everything, said daughter Molly Holt. She had boundless energy, added Molly's sister Barbara. How were Bertha Holt's accomplishments recognized throughout her lifetime? Oh my goodness, she won many, many awards. By the time Bertha passed, she was an accomplished woman. She published several books, including Seed from the East, Outstretched Arms, Created for God's Glory, and Bring My Sons from Afar. Bertha Holt's achievements were acknowledged with 57 different awards and honors during her lifetime. Anne-Marie Petticost, a staff member from Holt International, believes that the top 3 awards that Grandma Holt would have been most proud of were American Mother of the Year Award, Samaritan of the Year, and Woman of the World Award. Latter award was given to Bertha by Dale Rogers, whom she absolutely loved. Sadly, Bertha Holt passed away on July 31st in the year 2000, but her memory continues to live on. She was a pretty wonderful woman. There is a whole long list in your book of all the awards that she received. You can check it out. What is Holt International like today? In 1956, Holt International began with 2 people, Bertha and Harry. Today, it's the largest international adoption agency in the world. The Holts started working in Korea only, but now they have programs in 15 other countries. While children are waiting for their forever families, they live with foster families to help them grow and learn. Holt International first tries to help the children go back to home to their birth families. If they're not able to do that, Holt International tries to get them adopted by families from, they find a family from another country. There are so many pictures and so many resources and a whole timeline of Bertha Holt's life in the book that you should have. And first grade, don't worry, you're going to be getting yours next year. There are some very cool pictures in here. And one of them I wanted to show you was of her from her nursing school. They're on the buggy. Got some pictures of them when they were married right there. There's really cool pictures back here of all the children. There are so many photos to look through in your book. Bertha Holt was an absolute special lady. Oh, this is a really cool picture because it's a picture of Bertha Holt and she is at Hayward Field racing right there. Pretty amazing. So we are super lucky to have a school that was named after such an amazing woman. I hope you really enjoyed hearing this book with me. Feel free to watch it again and read along with your brand new book. But we celebrate her on February 5th because that's the day she was born. So I hope you have a wonderful day. And remember, go